You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what is going on? Welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I am your host, dini-mussolini. So, we're getting ready for a snowstorm, actually. It should be hitting overnight, in a few hours maybe. Temperatures dropping, all that sorts of thing. So, schools are closing. Yeah. But we are glad that we're here with you guys, as always, doing what we do. And this is a pre-recorded episode. So I can't wait to get this particular episode to you guys. Our guest for tonight has been on the show 3 times, so he's always welcome. A guy that I admire for his work. And with that, let's go ahead and bring him on. Mr. William Turner, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, sir. How are you doing?
All right, doing great. So we meet again. How's everything going?
It's going quite well, and I'm muddling through writing a TV script that has been requested. And I have absolutely no experience in that with all the nuances that go in it. But I'm confident that in the awareness, there are no definitive scripts. It's all up to the director.
Wow. No experience, and you get requested to do that particular goal, or that particular project. How did you feel when you first got the heads up about it?
Well, I tell you what, sir. What occurred was FX Network had received a synopsis. Then they received a pitch. And then they asked for a script. I spent agonizing hours and days trying to secure a scriptwriter, to no avail. And I received a lot of feedback telling me that scriptwriters are underpaid, overworked, and unappreciated. And it gave me the impression that I had no idea what they do in all of this. My eyes were open. And realizing that they don't come cheap, I decided to do it myself. And I'm in the process of completing it. I'll do it hopefully this weekend and get it back to FX and hope that it's good enough.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I could imagine pressure.
Yes. I get the consolation that at least I have come to their attention. And that is gratifying in and of itself.
Okay. Definitely. So, we are back. What else has been going on? Yeah, let's catch all the way up. I'm sure there's maybe 8 months to a year that has passed since we last spoke. Anything else incredible that's happened to you?
Well, I've outlined, and I'm nearly finished with the corpses beneath the tree. And that was interrupted by the request from the cable network. Mm-hmm. And I've also outlined the young assassin. I'm having fun with that. And it's more or less didactic. When I say that, it is a mob-type novel. But parents must be careful of what they tell their children, especially if their children take them seriously and obey them. And the young assassin, the father, tells his son, I do not want those nuns and priests calling me, telling me that you have misbehaved. You are to do what you are told and do not create any problems. Well, the young man was bullied all through elementary school, and it continued to high school. The boy was coming home with broken arms and all of this, and his father thought that he was toughening up by playing football. Well, the boy did take some lessons in karate to defend himself. Not that he thought that he would ever use it. He was sitting in school, and when the bell went off, he took his same route home, and the bully was following it. And he slowed for the bully to catch up. The bully grabbed him by the shoulders and swung him around. You thought you were going to get away from him, but you see you can't. And he had prepared to hit him. By that time, the young assassin took a stance and hit him so hard he broke his neck and killed him. He went home and propped him up against the storage buildings. He went home, and his mother realized, God, you're different. Is anything different with you? Is there anything you want to tell me? No, mother, everything is quite fine. As a matter of fact, it's never been better. That is what I got so far. Well, it's a little bit more than that. But I was watching TV, and all these parents talking about their kids being bullied, and they're doing nothing. Tell the teacher, whatever. And I am of the opinion that if given their druthers, the parents would prefer for their child to be the bully as opposed to being the bullied. Picked on, money taken, and all of this. And so it dawned on me, what would be the ramifications of this? What would be the effect on the child? As we know, some have committed suicide. Mm-hmm. But what if one becomes a hardened criminal? We must be careful of what we tell our children and what we expect them to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And, we can tell them, be respectful, treat people the way you wish to be treated. But if you find it absolutely necessary to defend yourself, by all means do it. I don't want someone hitting you in the eye, detaching your retina, breaking your legs, breaking your arms, or any limb in your body. And given the numbers of students, I don't know if they would take time out to investigate the child's concerns. They're running a school, and they're expecting it to run smoothly, and they have other things that they must attend to, as opposed to just taking that invaluable time and checking on the child to make sure that the child is all right and that he's unfettered to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating kids become karate experts, but I am saying that it would be nice. Parents could sleep better, go to work aware that their child is more than able, if necessary, to defend himself or herself.
Yeah. And you're in that environment, right? The education field?
I was in it, sir. A long time ago. I taught advanced English and literature. And the pay was not sufficient. It was quite inadequate. And so I left and went into the public sector. And now I'm back in school, getting a master's in English Lit.
Okay. So these stories are they the third and fourth book that you're currently working on now?
Yes, they are. I've completed A Murder in Our Midst and Death Comes for the President. And these two are next in line.
Is this a series, or are they all complete stories?
They are a series. A Murder in Our Midst, Death Comes for the President, and The Corpses Beneath the Tree. They have my detective involved, investigating, and trying to solve it.
Okay. Wow. So what connects these books together?
I don't understand. What did you say, sir?
What connects these books together?
The detective, Sir Wenzel, right, and his sidekick. Sir Robert had lost his best friend, and he had received a letter, come right away. Someone in my family is trying to kill me. And he had grown very attached to Raymond. They had attended Harvard together. When Raymond's father died, he spent most of the time at Raymond's mansion in Pasadena. And they were like umbilical brothers. And when he received this letter, come right away, someone in my family is trying to kill me, he drops everything and goes to see what he can do. But he arrives late. Raymond is dead. And he was told that Raymond had cancer, and unable to deal with it, he killed himself. He committed suicide. Robert says, no, I know my friend. He wouldn't have done that. But what he found puzzling while he was ferreting out who had done it, because he was of the opinion that Raymond was murdered, the family had closed ranks. This presented a problem for Winchell and for the family. He is an individual that we open our home, our hearts to, and now he's investigating us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was irritating. It was quite abrasive. But with as Winchell had lost his best friend, he was alone, like a part of him. And his investigation uncovered other murders committed by different culprits, but with a common motive. And as he didn't have jurisdiction, he teamed up with Detective Dennis. And in the end, after Winchell had resolved the murders, Detective Dennis became aware of the closeness of Winchell and Robert. He had never had a close friend. And he thought that Winchell would be a good friend. And Winchell gradually accepted Detective Dennis as a somewhat replacement for Robert. So they, in a sense, supplied what was missing in each. Like Holmes and Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't my intent while I was writing it, but when it dawned on me to put a bond between the two, is that Detective Dennis would leave the Los Angeles Police Department and team up with Winchell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And getting used to Winchell. And as a police officer, unlike Raymond, he would question Winchell. And that would irritate Winchell to no end. And so it was just like an assimilation, getting to know each other, accepting each other, and all of this.
Yeah. Good. So these two stories, third and fourth stories, you're working on them together or at the same time?
Yes, sir, I am. When you get an idea, when one takes the front and center of your mind, it tells you, say, get up, go and write it, continue writing it, because it's fresh, and you got the ideas. It's like it's begging to be completed, or completed sufficiently where you can walk away and then continue with what else you were doing. And then the other would crop up. It's my turn. The young assassin. Finish me. And so it's not that I'll put it this way, the stories have fully developed in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of completing them. And that is one of the crucial things that I do. I don't undertake writing until the story has completely unfolded in my mind. That precludes writer's block.
Yeah. But does that present a problem, working on two stories simultaneously?
No, it doesn't. you make sure that you don't overlap with the stories and merge them.
Right.
And so you're pretty much safe, because when there's a demand, a push, a psychological push to complete one or to write and add some more to it, you're focused. And the only thing that has disrupted the completion of them is this out of the blue request for a script. And that's for Death Comes for the President.
Okay. I mean, that's super talent. That's all I can say. Working on 2 stories simultaneously. I don't know if I could pull that off, Mr. Turner.
Well, I tell you, sir, we don't give our minds credit, sufficient credit, and we don't use all of our mind. We use just a portion of it. I was working on The Corpses Beneath the Tree. And while I was doing that, the thought came to me about the young assassin. And when I reached a point in The Corpses Beneath the Tree, I started to jot down the young assassin as the thoughts were flowing. And then once I got all that my mind had given me at that juncture, I saved it and continued to work on The Corpses Beneath the Tree. You know, there are those of us who want to be admired for exceptional abilities, great intellects, and all of this. Well, I'm not one of them. I have worked very diligently for the things that I have accomplished. And with writing, I try my very best to produce quality material. For example, I don't write down to the American people or to anyone. The American people are quite informed, and I think they will be insulted to be treated otherwise. I make sure that the plot is believable, that and the characters they can identify with. For example, I think this is overworked, but a person walks up and slaps you. You're not going to say, "Oh, thank you, I needed that." You would. Right, the human response would be to turn around swinging, and then you would ask later, you know, why did you do this? And describing the setting, you make sure that it's accurate, because the American people are well-traveled. And if you name a street, "Oh, I know that. I've been on that street." You describe a hotel. "Yes, I've been there. I stayed there." I'll never forget, I had described a church in the local area. And the train conductor told me, he said, "Well, Billy, I bought your book, and I remembered the church that you described. I've seen it. I've been in it." And the book, Death Comes for the President, I profiled the famed Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C., and got in touch with the manager, and she sent me a detailed description of it. I have no idea how to dress women. I got in touch with Saks Fifth Avenue, They told me what to use, the accessories to go with it, and all of this. And after it was published and it was out for the viewing public, Ivana Trump wore the identical dress. I was floored.
Wow.
And when Winchell is at the end, ready to solve the mystery, there's always a lavish dinner. And I can consult with chefs, renowned chefs, to make sure it's served properly, and the foods, everything. And then after the meal, Sir Robert unveils the murderer.
Right.
So you see, sir, a lot goes in it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. A whole lot.
Yes.
But that's incredible.
Right. And the geography, it's incredible. Is that you want to give the people, the readers, a geographical education, taking them on a world cruise. Your profiles spots in Germany, Italy, Turkey, Austria, and that means that you have to be thoroughly knowledgeable of these areas so you can describe them in your own words that the people can relate to. Yes, I've been to Crete. I've been to Florence. And one of my readers, I had no idea what Carigi was. And I said, well, those are the narrow streets. So, well, you described that in the book. I walked away having learned something. The Carugis. And so it was like describing descending cliffs where murder was committed. Did the person lose the footing? Was the person pushed? And those types of things.
Okay. Is there a release date?
I don't want to prematurely do one. I want to clear my plate with that script. Once the script is completed, it will be easier to make corrections and to their satisfaction to the best of my ability. And then once that's done, I can devote my energies to the young assassin and the corpses beneath the tree.
Okay. Get one project out the way first with the network, and then focus on finishing up the books. Right,
sir. With the reason that I'm giving the script priority is because FX Network is quite large. It will give me tremendous exposure and increase the book sales and all of this. And then once that's done, the reading public would anxiously await other things that I write.
Right. Okay. How long is the series, do you think, in your mind will last? Like, how many books are you looking to write upon this series with the detective?
Well, I tell you what, as long as I get ideas and plots, they will continue. And I was sitting in church, and I got to tell you this too. The priest was going on and on and on and on. And I gestured back, running my hand across my throat to cut it. Yes, we got it. Move on. And at that juncture, he turned around and caught me. I was absolutely humiliated. I couldn't wait for the services to be over. And so, and on my way home, I thought, death comes to the vicarage. And I outlined that. That is in the queue. And so we get these ideas through everyday activities. That is what sparks the creativity. And I don't intend to destroy, kill off Sir Robert, because it would be like killing a part of me. I imbued him with some of my qualities, having to work hard for what you get. No one gives you anything. You have to scratch, claw, climb. And so I wanted him to be imbued with that. I wanted him to be imbued with an analytical mind, compassion, a quick wit. And a lot of people like him, but he irritates Detective Dennis to no end. And people think that it's overshadowing Dennis, and it's not. They are gelling, they are merging and getting closer. Because, you know, you could meet some dude that you like. The two of you have something in common, and you start talking, going to football games, basketball games, or whatever. But you know that this is a special person that you can talk to, confide in, and all of this. And you don't just merge yourself into this person. It grows into a good, strong friendship. And it's very difficult for men to have a buddy, a strong, viable buddy, because people would begin to think something is amiss when it's not. Women can do this. They can have girlfriends and all of this. You ask your wife, where are you going? I'm going with my girlfriend. No, you're not. You're going to stay here with me. Watch me. And then she walks off. You can't do that. Where are you going? I'm going to see my buddy. No, you're not. Watch me. Well, if you go, don't bother to come back.
And that is how it goes.
Exactly. And so, and by the way, I got a question I want to ask you. What's that? What's going on between the two of you? Why are you so close? And those types of things. And so you have to, when I write it, I have to put it in such a way that there will be no misunderstanding.
You're right, yeah. Yes. And that is guaranteed relatable.
Yeah, and so a lot of guys can do that. You say, hey, man, we're going to watch this football game together. I'm going to be at your house or mine. Oh, I'm going to bring you over to my house. Your wife said, oh, no, he's not coming over here. Not today. I'm just going to spend some time with you today. Or you can just watch the game by yourself. How come you always got to bring him over here? And so it's quite a double standard, per se.
Oh, yeah.
And so you turn around, well, that's my buddy. I don't care. You're my husband. And you're not bringing him in here. And on top of this, where's his wife? Let him spend some time with his wife. And so it goes on and on and on. And so I try. Now that presents a problem when I'm writing it, and then I want to write that passage and just continue with the other sections of the novel. But I find myself going back and looking at it, reading it over and over, so there will be no misunderstandings.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. But I think you're capturing it the way it happens. The way it happens.
But, you know, you look at the two prominent people, Oprah Winfrey and Gail.
Yeah.
The best of buddies and all of this. And they have gotten to the point. There were rumors. And to have your sexuality impugned, it has to hurt. And even with them. And so, but with their power, their prestige, and all of this, they surround themselves with people who don't question it as much as the average citizen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it's, you know, you can have everything, a good friend, and you can talk to, you can relate to, you can bounce things off of. But when you're in that position, or in any position, it will be questioned. And so you turn around there, it's like you're walking on eggshells. And so I do my best to make sure that the relationship between Detective Dennis and Sir Robert is never questioned.
Right. Do you think that's still an important topic? Sexuality in media and literature?
In a sense, what people do is their right to do, as long as they don't encroach on another's freedom of expression or choice and all of this. And you can't expect everybody en masse to accept your way of life. If you meet with resistance, force back, they're homophobic. They are dead set against us and all of this. And case in point, I was watching one of these singing contests. I forget which one it was. It'll come to me. But at any rate, the individual was gay. He had tried out as in male attire and was and didn't make it. He came back in drag. His name was Ada. That was the name he had chosen. And Tyler Perry was one of the judges. The man sung. I got to give it to him. The man could actually sing. And it looked, and the audience was chanting his name. And people were saying, he's going to win that contest. I said, no, he's not. Because the show was sponsored by Disney, a family-oriented theme park. They're not going to have a gay person representing them. They were probably having performing in Vegas. And the ironic part about it, I haven't heard anything about it. He lost the competition, and he's been silent ever since. when we think of things and advance agendas, we cannot expect a 100% consensus. It's like the people in the Midwest, the Northeast, the Northwest. They think that the United States needs a wall between the United States and Mexico. The ironic part about it is that the people in the southern states, the Southwest, oh no, we don't need one. We do have a few problems, but we nothing that necessitates a wall. And you don't have everybody on the same page.
Right.
Everybody chanting the same thing. And so it is important for people to realize that, well, the gays, you are fine to be gay, but don't expect everybody to accept that.
Yeah.
Just be content to do your thing. To think whatever you want to think. But don't get upset when others disagree with you. Case in point, my son oftentimes goes off on a tangent with opinions and all of this. And he would get feedback from others. And he would turn around and say, why are they picking on me? I said, look, just because that's your opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean that other people share it. You'll have some followers who agree with you totally, but a larger segment will not. He said, oh, Daddy, well, I said, that's going to be difficult for you to accept. And hammering it, he has begun to accept that and acknowledge it. That is your opinion. That is the way you see things. It doesn't necessarily mean that others see the same thing and arrive at the same conclusion.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you know, in comparative literature, you're talking about this. Well, 2 or 3 people have written on this topic. You have your say. You read what they said. You read what the others said. And then you compare the two. And then so I said, that is comparative literature. Mm-hmm. And so he said, okay, Dad, I get it. And that was it.
Mr. Turner, where can people connect with you online for information about your first 2 books? I think the last time we talked, Death of a President was being worked on, but it is complete now, right?
Yeah, Death Council of the President, that is complete.
Yeah.
They can get these books on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and other book outlets. And with Death Council of the President, they can read without commitment the first 3 chapters. And it will let them know where I'm going, and they will familiarize them with some of the characters. And I received a stellar review on Death Council of the President. And one lady said that the government should read this. I thought she was inferring I should be arrested. But she liked the story. And it resonated with her. And I felt that I had succeeded.
Yeah.
And my following on Twitter is gradually increasing.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not so much the goal as it is the goal. because I want to give the American people quality, credible books. And there are seasoned mystery solvers. They can read a couple of chapters and tell you who did it. And so I turn around there, I have them guessing to the very end. And that was an accomplishment.
Right.
And I do read my reviews. And I do take them seriously. Because that's the only way we can perfect our craft.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, Mr. William Turner. Yeah. Oh, no. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say writing is quite daunting. It is ever demanding.
Yeah. It's very relieving, too, to, sink your teeth into a well-written story.
That is true.
I love crime. I love mysteries.
It is. I was asked one time, what is the difference between a thriller and a mystery? Mm-hmm. Well, they blur somewhat in the definition because they each share the same traits. With mysteries, a crime has been committed. Oftentimes, the individual has been murdered, or detective is brought in to exact justice, bring the culprit to justice, make him answer for the crime. In a thriller, the victim is caught up in what is perceived an inescapable situation. For example, he might be, well, I'll give you this. The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. Mm-hmm. The victim is sealed in a wall, and he's clawing and scratching, trying to get out. You get to understand what led to his predicament. A person who was aggrieved, a person who was hurt to the point that would lead him to do this. You find yourself rooting for the person that's entombed. You want them to get out. You want them to discuss what the situation was and come together. Oftentimes they don't. But if the person succumbs, then you can call it a mystery. But you already know who the murderer is. Okay. And as a writer, you get, it depends on the person. And when I say person, how you tell it. Do you tell it as a first person, knowledgeable? Do you do it as a second person? And the third is the best because you can get into everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. You can address what the entombed person is thinking, experiencing. And the person who has entombed him. You'll know why. You want him to get revenge. So you're dually going between the two.
Right. Definitely. Okay. Makes perfect sense, Mr. Turner.
And I would like to say this too, is that when you undertake writing, it is crucial that you have a fundamental grasp of the English language. You will know that simple sentences speed the reader up. Complex, compound. Those sentences are used to give directions, descriptions, settings, and things like this. And above all, is that when you submit your manuscript for publication considerations, make sure that your manuscript has been proofread so that there are no grammatical errors that will jump out at them. And if you are rejected, and you will be, don't be thin-skinned. If they offer a critique, you're fortunate because you can learn from it. You can perfect your manuscript. But if they don't, you go over it, look at it again, and keep plugging away. Don't give up.
All right, Mr. Turner?
Yes, sir.
All right, for some reason I got disconnected. All right, so, yeah, wow. I'm going to offer you our open floor. This is a part where you can bring up anything that you wanted to mention that we didn't cover in our conversation.
I would welcome that. I want to tell the people that if you choose the genre of writing, by all means, know what you're going to write about. Outline it. Develop the plot. Develop the characters, the setting. And as you're writing, if you have someone to proofread it, to edit it, that will be fine. But once the manuscript is completed, have it professionally edited. Publishers will tell you to do a query letter. They tell you that is very important. That is crucial to get the publisher's attention. Catchphrases and things of that nature. You can write it yourself and be rejected. You can hire a professional query writer and still be rejected. So it's not guaranteed. And if your manuscript is reviewed and considered, it is known that the rejection letters are almost identical. Thank you for your submission. Good luck in placement, but not suited for us. Don't be discouraged. Continue to write.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to get your work before the reading public. And I want the readers to be aware that being published is highly subjective. It depends not so much on the quality of your material, but the mood that the publisher is in. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they indifferent? Whatever. They could be having personal problems and not consider your manuscript. It is not for you to question why, but you to know that it is highly subjective, and that a lot of the publishers have long forgotten, conveniently forgotten, that all well-established authors were at one time unknown until someone decided to repose faith in them. And don't expect the publishers to clean up your grammar. That is an absolute no-no. They don't. And if they like your manuscript and they find grammatical error or whatever, they'll dismiss it. And I can understand that, because when a person speaks to me, that person has my undivided attention. But the moment that person speaks incorrectly, that person has lost my attention. I don't hear anything else. And there's a word I would like to share. It's called monkey. Not monkey, but monkey. You pronounce it like you're from the Caribbean. It means, it's M-A-N-Q-U-E. It means frustrated ambitions. You didn't accomplish what you had set out to do. Mm-hmm. It's like Mr. Brandon, when he said in A Streetcar Named Desire, I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. Resilience, persistence, you keep going and going and going. And it's gratifying to see a part of you, your creativity, on the shelves of libraries. People are talking about your creativity and your talent. It is rewarding. But don't become arrogant, right, because you can always improve.
Yes, indeed. Wow. Those are some really encouraging words. Thank you for that.
You're more than welcome, sir.
Thank you. All right, Mr. William Turner, I really appreciate you once again for being our guest tonight. I know it's late for some of us, 12 o'clock on the, well, actually 1 o'clock on the East Coast, and about to be midnight here in the South, and you guys still got a couple of more hours for midnight hit on the West Coast.
Yes, sir, we do. It's about 10 here.
Yeah. Again, I really do appreciate you for your time.
And thank you, sir, for the granting me the interview. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. See you next time. I will talk to you next time.
Okay, sir. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre-free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.